because we need prayers with the kind of challenges that we are facing. Okay, that's a beautiful prayer for all of you, dear teachers, as we face another year of difficult set of challenges, having to continue on with our work of teaching, even in this online setup, and there's no end in sight to this thing. I mean, how we wish we can say that we will be back inside the classroom by the middle of the year, by the, um, we don't know. But we entrust all these to Saint Joseph. You know, I promised to tell you the history of the Rosary in the light of what is happening in our world today. If you remember, it was to Saint Dominic that Mary revealed the Holy Rosary. It took 12 centuries for the divine mastercraft, for God to put together this powerful weapon, which was entrusted to Our Lady, who is supposed to crush the head of the serpent. I mean, we read that in the book of Genesis. This woman shall crush the head of the serpent, and it has been a history of battle between Our Lady and Satan. And so, in the 13th century, Mary finally was ready to reveal this powerful spiritual weapon um, by appearing to Saint Dominic, who at that time was battling a heresy that was practically destroying our church. I mean, the Albigensian heresy was so bad, it was denying, for example, the humanity of Christ, that more than half, according to historians, more than half of the Catholic Church had become Albigensian, including powerful people like bishops and priests. And Dominic was the one entrusted by the task by God to preach against it. And he was going around, but to no success. So he went to the mountains to pray and fast and sacrifice. And Our Lady appeared to him and told him, "This is the weapon that you will use to fight the enemy, the Holy Rosary." Now, Saint Dominic is the founder of the Dominican order, the order of preachers. And you can imagine that he preached and preached and preached a lot. But do you realize that there is not a single paragraph recorded um, attributed to Saint Dominic? There's none. He never wrote a book, or maybe he wrote books, but they were all burnt. And they were all burnt because the response of Satan to the Holy Rosary was the Black Plague in the 13th century, in the 14th century, 1317 to 1321, when there was a Black Plague. And according to historians, Europe alone, there were 25 million people who died. Walang sinabi itong pandemic natin. 25 million people in Europe alone died. 75 million people all over the world, the Black Plague. And it was so bad that they had to burn some convents. Um, they had to burn many places which were suspect for spreading of the virus. And they burned the places, the convents where Saint Dominic was, which is the reason why today we do not have any record, any paragraph, any book, any homily attributed to Saint Dominic, which as I said, is weird kasi siya ang founder ng Order of Preachers. Satan's response was to destroy all records of the Holy Rosary. Our Lady's response, she had to appear to Blessed Alan de la Roche to reveal again the Holy Rosary. And Blessed Alan de la Roche is going to make again alive the what we know of the Holy Rosary. Satan would respond with the Protestant Revolution, the Lutheran Revolt, which will, well, again, because of that, many Catholic churches would be destroyed, burnt, and um, so Our Lady would have to respond again with Our Lady of Guadalupe's Our Lady appearing in Guadalupe, Our Lady appearing to later on Saint Bernadette of Subiru. Satan's response is going to be the so-called Age of Enlightenment, the so-called period of triumph of reason against religion. It's absurd. Our Lady's response will be she will have to appear again in Fatima to even strengthen more this weapon by adding the "Oh Jesus, forgive us our sins." You remember that in Lourdes and in Fatima, she was like a broken record. Pray the rosary, go back to the sacraments, love Jesus. And it's always the same. And from Fatima, that would be repeated in many other places all over the world. But the message is always the same: pray the rosary. And after Fatima, Satan's response, I think, would be that age of selfishness, self centeredness, where abortion is going to triumph, divorce is going to ruin, destroy many families, many marriages, many homes. And the so called sexual revolution of the 60s, that's Satan's response. Our Lady's response, St. John Paul II, with the addition of the luminous mysteries. Did you ever wonder why, bakit luminous? I mean, why of all times now and why the luminous? Well, okay, remember that that is supposed to be Our Lady's response to what was happening in the world. Let's start with the first luminous mystery, baptism. When you talk of baptism, you think of babies being baptized, right? Because that's the rightful time for baptism. Babies. And when you say babies, what comes to our mind is the 1.5 billion babies that have been murdered in their mother's womb from 1972, especially up to the present. We need the luminous mysteries. We need the first luminous mystery in response to that slaughter of babies. And then the second luminous mystery, the wedding feast at Cana. Wedding, that is what many people today are trying to destroy by introducing same sex marriage, homosexual marriage. Marriage is under attack. In fact, some bishops say, alam nyo, ang problema sa Pilipinas, hindi yung RH. Ang problema sa Pilipinas is there are more and more couples uh, living in without the benefit of the sacrament of marriage. We have more and more people like this cohabitating, having children when they are in fact not married in the eyes of God. That is a bigger problem. We need a second luminous mystery. Third luminous mystery, the proclamation of the new kingdom and the call to conversion. This is what our seminar today and the past days and up to tomorrow are all about. We want to strengthen our spirit of evangelization. We want to make all teachers the powerful evangelizers that we should be, that we can be. So, our message in the first day is stop teaching and start evangelizing. And think of these young people who need to hear more and more about God, about the faith, about the beauty of our Catholic faith. And they have to see it in the way we love our proclamation of the new kingdom, and then call people to conversion. We need the third luminous mystery. The fourth luminous mystery, the transfiguration. We need to get people to see Jesus again for what he is, our God, our Lord. We need to get people to see him um, as he really is, a merciful Father who is ready to forgive. And there are many people who have not gone to confession, for example, for a long time. We need that fourth mystery. And then the fifth luminous mystery, the institution of the Eucharist. Eucharist is under attack in many places. And the pandemic is Satan's response to the luminous mysteries. And our Lord knew that, Our Lady knew that. That's why she had to put there the fifth luminous mystery, the institution of the Eucharist. Today, when many people are deprived of Eucharist, eh, many people today have not gone back to the church ever since the start of all these lockdowns, still afraid uh, that they might catch the virus, the COVID. So we need the Holy Eucharist. The other thing I need to say is, you remember that on the night that Jesus instituted the Holy Eucharist, that was the same night he instituted the holy orders, the priesthood. I mean, that was when he got these apostles to have the power to receive the same power of being able to transform the piece of bread and wine into the very body and blood of Christ. And yes, priesthood is under attack as well. We need the fifth luminous mystery. I mean, you read social media now and how many people are lambasting Pope Francis for this declaration he made, putting restrictions in the traditional Latin Mass. Okay, there may be some arguments that some people want to present, but this is the Holy Father they are attacking. I mean, at any point, we are not in a position to criticize, to speak badly of, and even to think badly of. Um, we pray in response to doubts that people have about the benefit or the goodness of this um, Summum Pontificorum, the new proclamation that he made about the TLM. But uh, we Catholics have to be sowers of peace and joy, not sowers of discord and hatred and anger and much less uh, against the Holy Father, against the Pope who represents Christ on earth. We need the fifth luminous mystery very badly now. So that is Our Lady's response to the this time of divorce and euthanasia and abortion and contraception. And then Satan's response precisely is the pandemic, which deprived us of sacraments. Now we are waiting for, huy, what's Our Lady's move now? What will be her next response? You know her next response? Sabi niya sa kanyang kaasawa, Joseph, ikaw na muna. This year of Saint Joseph is Our Lady's response to the this centuries of battle that has been raging between the woman and the serpent, the woman who shall crush the head of the serpent, and this serpent, devil, Satan, who continues to do his sowing of evil around the world. So that's why we go to Saint Joseph. That's why I encourage you to entrust your work as teachers to Saint Joseph. He is the one. Pagka ang bahay nagkakagulo, pagka ang mga anak ang nag-aaway-away, who steps in to finally, once and for all, put a stop to that chaos? Yung tatay. Minsan, isang tingin lang ng tatay, tatahimik ang mga anak. And that is Saint Joseph. That is how powerful he is. And I think I mentioned to you, I don't know if you realize it, this is the very first time in the history of the Catholic Church that we have a year of Saint Joseph. It's his time. His time has come. And so, um, in facing these challenges, I know many of you are full of apprehensions. You're scared, you're afraid. This online teaching is not your cup of tea. You are not experts in technology. Some of us are even grappling. Um, but yes, with the help of Saint Joseph, with the grace of God, we will triumph, especially because we are not just here doing unemployment. I mean, fulfilling unemployment. We are here to fulfill a mission to do the will of God. So then, let's get straight into the topic. This morning, we will cover creating a kind and caring classroom. And many of the strategies I will share with you, in fact, are very, very related to classroom management. In the first place, when teachers never resort to shouting, screaming, yelling, sarcasm, please make sure we don't use sarcasm inside the classroom because um, some people just don't like it and feel offended with sarcastic remarks. Yung mga tipong, oh John, ang aga mo para bukas kasi late siya dumating ano. That's sarcasm. And sure, magtatawanan yung mga bata. But si John, nanggagalaiti at nagkikimkim ng galit, nag-iisip, gaganti ako sa inyo, ma'am. Gaganti ako sa inyo, sir. Sarcasm doesn't work. It borders on a lack of charity. There are other ways to make people laugh. But sarcasm is not one that is best inside the classroom. It's not the best one to use inside the classroom. So, creating a kind and caring classroom by being good classroom managers. Tama si Albert Einstein. You know, our aim is not just to produce scholars, geniuses, intelligent people in math and science. No, try not to become a man or woman of success, but rather try to become a man or woman of value. And that's what we too want to do with our students, not just to make them men and women of success, but especially to get them to become men and women of value, of character, especially because the past two meetings or four meetings we've had, we've been talking about crisis in character. While we may be producing a smart, self assured generation of young people, today's kids are also the most self centered and stressed out on record. I don't, we don't need a study to notice this. Most self centered. Um, it's in the environment. All you need to do is spend a few minutes, a few hours with these young people, and you notice how much they can be so absorbed, for example, with their gadget, or how much they can be so um, immersed in the thought of themselves. Because that's the world. The world is telling them, just do it. Love yourself. Follow your heart. I mean, it's all about me. You know, sabi nila, the new Satanism, the new form of Satanism, is not the worship of Satan. It's the worship of self. When the person says, God says this, but no, not even God should dictate on what I want, what I like, what I choose to do. That's when the person puts himself over and above God. God says, sixth commandment, ninth commandment, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife. Pornography is evil. No, uh, that's old style. I do what I want. I'm not hurting anyone just watching these pornographic videos. I'm not harming anyone. I make myself the decision maker regarding morals. That's neo Satanism. It's not worshiping Satan, it's worshiping of oneself and making oneself even higher than God. And that is the kind of uh, world, or that is a kind of attitude, mindset that this world is uh, influencing people, young people especially, to acquire or to have a mindset of I decide what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong, what I want, and what I don't want. And then we talked about this the past days, especially with the election coming up, with all these attacks against politicians, attacking other politicians. And then you watch TV Patrol, 24 Horas, and you get to see headlines about murder, robbery, killing, full of hatred, full of anger. And then we talked about the glorification of the vulgar that you find in songs, in blockbuster movies, in um, MTVs, with the frequent repetition of foul language, profanities, bad words, and even worse, in movies where the name of Christ is used in vain. I mean, inserting the name of Christ in um, profanity, in a foul language. It's vulgar. And yet, it's like being glorified in MTV's movies, TV shows. And then we talked about the viral bashing people, spreading lies, calumnies, and then people liking, sharing, commenting without even reading the or finding out the complete story. There is that self-absorption epidemic. And as I mentioned, the pandemic did not help. It just worsened things because now young people have more excuse to spend more time in front of the screen because they can use it now as an excuse. Yung asynchronous class, online project, um, online work with students, with their classmates, group work that they need to meet with them online. Reality check, teens are now 40% lower in empathy levels than 3 decades ago. And in the same period, narcissism, self love, selfishness, self centeredness increased 58%. This is what we are grappling with. And we saw there is rise in cases of suicide. There is rise in cases of depression. We teachers now have to equip ourselves. Paano natin tutulungan ng isang estudyante who is going through depression? Parang ngayon kailangan meron na tayong mga seminars tungkol dyan. Mental health, mental wellness, because this has become more and more prevalent everywhere. In the US, ang response nila to all this crisis is, ay, let us put those high-tech cameras inside the classroom, along the corridor, in the main streets, CCTV. And even you, some of you, probably fell into the same quote-unquote trap, thinking that this will solve the problem of bullying, this will solve the problem of cheating. We too, here in the Philippines, have started doing that, installing expensive, high definition CCTV cameras everywhere in the campus, like as if that will solve the problem, the crisis of character. And worse, in the United States, most schools have done this. Here in the Philippines, nag-umpisa na among the universities. Let's put metal detectors at the entrance. Again, like as if it's going to solve the problem, the crisis that we are talking about. It will not. That will only check kung may dala silang baril o kutsilyo. But that is not the solution to the problem. Worse is we, schools, are affected by parents pulling out their children and then saying, ako na lang magtuturo sa'yo. Babayad pa ako ng tuition para lang ibuli ka sa eskwelahan. Dito ka na lang, ako na lang. Uh, there are more and more people now resorting to homeschooling. losing trust in more and more institutions, academic institutions. It's very sad. It's almost like we have failed. No, we haven't failed. We just have to strengthen our character formation. We just have to be more effective and fruitful in creating a kind and caring school, in creating a place that is safe for the students, and that parents don't have to worry about kinakawawa na kaya ang anak ko, binubuli kaya ang anak ko. I mean, no parent should ever have to sleep in the evening feeling afraid for their son, for their daughter. Many of you are parents. You don't want ever to entertain the thought na ang anak mo binubuli, pinapahirapan. Okay, so let's make our schools kind and caring. Let's make our classroom kind and caring. Sabi ng Chinese proverb, a man without a smiling face must not open a shop. Walang karapatang magbukas ng tindahan ang isang taong hindi marunong ngumiti, that who cannot be kind and caring, because the smile is the clearest sign of a person who is kind, who is caring. And I'm not exaggerating when I tell you at the end of every meeting, okay, please put on your biggest, widest, fakest smiles to welcome our students on day one, because that is what really I want you to do, to be able to show them that sincere joy in seeing them back. Okay, we have a bit of a question. Teenagers of today use suicide to scare their parents. What are we going to do with these teenagers? Well, that's why we have to strengthen our character formation. That's why we have to um, make them see very clearly that, hey, I'm here. I'm not just a math teacher. I'm not just a science teacher. I am someone who cares enough to see you succeed, not just in math, not just in science, but in life. If we can make it that way, then these teenagers will not find themselves alone. They know that they can run to Mrs. Reyes, math teacher, to Mrs. Agoncillo, science teacher, to their class advisor, Mr. Alfonso. We, all teachers, if we get ourselves in that position of making it very clear to the students, class, let's help each other. I'm here to help you. And I'm here not just to help you pass the quiz, pass a test, pass a subject. I'm here because I really sincerely want to be able to help you become a good person. Okay? So, if there is at any point you feel the need to talk to someone, I am here. If all teachers say that, and if students hear all teachers saying that, then that's seven additional people that they can run to, seven more reasons why they will not even think of suicide, seven more reasons why they will not even entertain the thought that they are alone and that they are hopeless and that there is no more solution to their problem. That's why we have to play our part. And then, schools, please address your parents. Call them for a seminar, assemble them for an orientation, and bring up this concern. Bring up concerns like this that only you, teachers, who um, to whom some students open up uh, because they prefer to open up to you than to their parents, and make the parents realize that this is a crisis situation, and that in fact we expect the parents to be the first ones to make sure the students, their children get to hear from them, I'm here, let's talk. Meron kasing nangyayari pag ang estudyante pumasok na ng high school level, junior high and senior high, the tendency of parents is to back off, right? I mean, they cannot anymore follow them up as they used to when they were kids. They cannot anymore check up on them if they're doing their assignment as much as they did when they were in grade school. But the parents should make it very clear that they are ready. available if the kid wants to talk, kahit junior high or senior high na siya. And these are the things that we have to be able to pass on to the parents through a parenting assembly, a talk, an orientation. Especially now with this online setup, please don't open the school year without you first addressing the parents and sharing with them what you expect from them in this setup. Okay? For example, now, yung dating ginagawa natin sa loob ng classroom, disciplining, calling attention of the students, telling them to be punctual, telling them, ay, parents na ngayon ang kailangan gumawa nun dahil nasa bahay ang mga bata. We cannot anymore tell the student, sit up straight. Hindi natin nakikita, naka-off ang screen niya. But the parents can, huy, umupo ka na mahusay para concentrate ka ng maayos. The parents now are the ones who will have to be the ones doing that. And then we need the strong support of the parents. Hindi pwedeng anong tawag diyan, 500 kbps lang ang signal. The parents now will have to find a way that they have stronger wifi at home kasi apat kayong gumagamit and lahat yung mga anak nyo may online classes. That's the parents, that's beyond us. Hindi ka naman pwedeng umuwi dun sa kanila at ikaw ang mag-install ng wifi nila. The parents will have to. So, ang dami natin ngayong expectations from the parents, support that we need from them para this thing will be successful, because this is not the same as opening the school year, welcoming the students inside our classroom, and then going to do our usual routine. Hindi, meron na ngayong mga expectations at home that the parents will have to make sure, you need to make sure there is a bit of an orientation, that you call them for a general assembly by Zoom. And then kung 100 lang ang capacity, the others should be able to follow in your Facebook page, because there's an add-on like that feature in Zoom, no? That will enable you to stream live in Facebook and in YouTube, so that thousands of others can follow while you are just running the meeting through Zoom. So that's the only solution I find to this question of what to do with these teenagers. We need to get them to know that they have more people here, you, teachers, parents, ready to help them. Don't even think about suicide. Don't lose hope. Don't be depressed. In order to reduce bullying, it is important to change the social climate of the school, to create a healthy social climate and the social norms regarding bullying. This requires the efforts of everyone, parents, teachers, students. But wait, including the ladies selling in the cafeteria, the security guard, the school bus drivers, the everyone, the librarians, because sometimes bullying can be happening in the library, sometimes it happens in the cafeteria. So we need these people selling in the cafeteria also working with us. Sometimes it happens right outside the school, bago sila pumasok. That's visible to the security guard at the entrance. And then now we will also look into cyberbullying. I have a strategy for you for that one later on. Okay, research tells us student achievement increases when students feel comfortable in their learning environment. And mind you, many of them do not feel comfortable in this online setup. And that's why there is greater work needed to help these students, especially the achievers who have been consistently, let's say, reaching a certain grade. Now they have to put in a bit more effort given this setup, because everyone feels uncomfortable. Okay, some students actually prefer this now. That's based on research also. There are some who suddenly feel more at home with the online setup because no more travel time wasted, or no more time wasted on traveling, having to catch the jeepney, the stress of having to be caught in traffic. I mean, those things nawala, ano? And they're just at home. But may additional challenges then. They're at home. So, nandyan din ang available PS2, computer games, um, network, or how do you call the arcade games. Nandyan pa rin ang Netflix, ang Spotify, ang television, ang YouTube. So, um, those are now the additional challenges. At least in the classroom setup before, you can always say, no bringing out of cell phone, okay? Pero ngayon, they're holding their cell phone the whole day while still listening to you inside the Zoom room. That those are the new challenges. Okay, we will make our classrooms a paradise upon earth with gentleness and kindness. How beautiful a day can be when kindness touches it, even in an online setup. So, kindness. A caring classroom is not only comfortable, it allows the teacher to spend more time teaching and less time handling student conflicts. Some of you know how stressful it is to be investigating. Di ba minsan, ganun ang nangyari sa eskwelahan, ano? May nanay na lumusob sa eskwelahan, nagrereklamo, ang kanyang anak daw ay binubuli. And then you, the class advisor, find yourself having to interrogate, interview, get to the bottom of things. Stressful to the point that minsan iniisip natin, this is not what I signed up for. I mean, this is not what I took up education for. Ang sabi ko, mag-education ako because I want to impact the lives of my students. I want to uh, teach the students not to investigate, not to interrogate, not to do disciplinary action. So, we will spend more time teaching and less time handling student conflicts if in the first place there is no bullying that exists. There is kindness, there is caring, and that is what we will take up later in the afternoon, this thing of creating a culture of unity, of camaraderie, friendship among your students. That, and I'm going to share with you concrete strategies on how to make sure you will never have to deal with bullying inside your classroom. So all the these are all the crisis, the effects of the crisis in empathy. It's hurting students' academic performance. It has been leading to bullying behaviors, more cheating, less resilience, the inability of students to work with other team, with other members of the team, to collaborate, to innovate, and to problem solve. See how important empathy is to make sure that the students have it. Well, I'll give you now strategies to win the war. This war against bullying, the war against the prevailing atmosphere of hatred and vulgar and uh, viral bashing. Dr. Thomas Licona was the one who scientifically looked into it. He studied many, many programs, bully prevention programs, and he discovered that only 28% of them are effective. Majority are not effective. And then he looked into why are some effective and others are not. And in the end, he came up with 12-point strategy in order to create a kind and caring school. And as you see here in this diagram, we're not going to tackle this in detail, but we're going to look into what many schools do in order to address the concern of creating a kind and caring school. What we see in the diagram is, yes, you should have classroom strategies, but you should also have school-wide strategies that caring beyond the classroom. The schools, parents, and communities as partners. We have to get everyone on board. We have to get everyone doing their part, not just we in the school, but we also expect the home to do their part. And then we also expect the community to do their part. I mean, kahit anong hirap mong turuan ng mga estudyante about the evils of pornography, for example, pagdating nila sa kanto ng eskwelahan ninyo, just a few steps away, nandyan ang nagtitinda ng pornographic materials, videos. You're not going to be very successful. You need to go collaborate with that community, that neighbor, and tell them, "Uy, hindi pwede. Please refrain. Support us in our effort to um, campaign, push chastity, purity, modesty." I mean, in the same way na um, kahit anong effort you put in to protect your school from drugs, to keep drugs out, pero just across is a supplier. And students know that you're not going to stand a chance. You need to get the community to partner with you, to collaborate with you. And then creating a culture of excellence and ethics among everyone. As I said, everyone includes the auxiliary staff, the non-teaching staff, the ladies selling in the cafeteria. Everyone will have to play their part. Okay, let's start with strategies right away to creating a kind and caring classroom. This is supposed to be part yesterday of the strategies of Hal Urban. You remember I shared with you the strategy of welcoming everyone with a handshake, talking about the golden rule. And then here is his daily four. He makes sure that he is able to do all these four things in the 1 hour period he has with the students or the 50-minute period he has with the students. Sometimes he would make them do only one of these four, but every day, one, two, three, or four of these, he gets the students to do. Number one, get a partner, you tell the students, and then 1 minute each, share a good news. 1 minute, one person tells the other. Then, after 1 minute, exchange the other one. Whatever good news, whether it is good news, I finished my assignment on time. Good news for me is I made up. Nag-away kami ng kapatid ko pero okay na kami. That's a good news. Hal Urban, this is Hal Urban strategies. He discovered that eventually the students started sharing even intimate good news. You know, my father abandoned us last month, and then last night he came back, and it's a good news for. I mean, they started talking like that. No? In fact, 1 minute each might be long. Kahit 30 seconds each lang. And you see how starting a class like this can change the atmosphere. I mean, the students start becoming less uh, stiff and stressed out. And of course, we love sharing good news. And of course, we love hearing good news. Number two, tell about someone or something you're grateful for. 1 minute lang. Get another partner and then 30 seconds each. Exchange. Tell that person about someone or something you're grateful for. I'm really grateful for Joanna. She lent me the assignment that I missed last time and I was able to catch up. I'm grateful for the something or someone. Number three, affirm someone in class. The example I showed you yesterday of Joanna, I heard you helped John in his assignment because he was absent. Good job. That's what it means to be caring and kind and helpful. And moreover, hindi kita inutusan to do it. That's initiative. Good job. And I hope everyone will have that kind of attitude and mindset and readiness to help others. Number four, make us laugh. Wholesome joke. Okay. Next meeting, class, we will listen to some of your classmates give us some wholesome joke. The, the laughter students share at the start of a class, at the start of a period, or in the middle of the class when everyone is already stressed out with the activity, somebody cracking a joke changes the atmosphere. It lightens up the mood again and makes everyone eager again to continue on with their work. The Daily Four, Hal Urban's strategy. That's why I told you, kahit ang title ng book niya is 20 Things Good Teachers Do, it contains dozens and dozens of strategies. Okay, here is how Hal Urban starts his school year, day one. And you can do this even in an online setup. And I hope you can do something like this to set the right tone in your class. I'll explain it in the face to face setup. But as I said, it can also be applied to online setup. Okay, class, can you describe to me what kind of classroom you don't like, yung what do you not like in a toxic classroom environment? Magtataasan ng kamay ng mga bata. Sir, ayaw ko ng rude students. Okay? You write all these negative things on one side of the board or one side of the whiteboard or blackboard. What else? Sir, I don't like inconsiderate classmates. Yung mga parang hindi tumutulong, inconsiderate. Good. Anyone else? I don't like disrespect. Good. I don't like offensive language. Good. I don't like bullying. You write all them down in one side of the board. Okay, now can you describe to me what kind of classroom atmosphere you would like to be in or you would like to have? Magtataasan ng kamay. I like courtesy, courteous students, very good. I like considerate people, classmates. I like respectful. I like polite. Okay, very good. You make up all those lists. After coming up with a long list of negative and positive, you announce now to the class, okay, class, this did not come from me. This came from you. Sabi nyo, ayaw nyo nitong ganitong classroom. Gusto nyo, sabi nyo, gusto nyo itong ganitong classroom. We will put this in posters. This one to the left side of the room. This one will go to the right side. Okay? And now, can we commit ourselves? Therefore, because it came from you, hindi akong gumawa ng listahan na to, kayo to, sa galing sa inyo. Can we therefore now commit ourselves to prohibit these negative things and then to foster these positive things? You can even, I don't know, make them sign a contract, an agreement that they agree to fostering this and prohibiting this. Now, here's the beauty of this strategy of Hal Urban. Next time around in your class that somebody utters a profanity, offensive language, don't get mad, don't get angry. You don't even need to say anything. Just call the person's name, John, and then point to the poster. Meaning to say, John, didn't we commit ourselves that we will not allow profanity, offensive language? But you don't need to say all those things. It's enough to call the name John and then point to the poster. And that's it. John will remember, oh nga pala, we committed. I signed a contract. I signed an agreement. I pledged to live by that. And John will just say sorry. That's it. The next time somebody is rude, somebody's reciting, but two guys are talking, Joey and John, and then point to the poster. Didn't we commit ourselves that we will not be rude, that we will be courteous and considerate, respectful? It works. And it's fantastic because it frees you, it liberates you from the parang the task of having to get upset, to sermonize, to say so many things just to drive home the point na, we have to create a kind and caring classroom. Okay, big idea, a high quality comprehensive approach to character education is the most effective way to develop caring classrooms and schools and thereby reduce bullying. High quality, comprehensive. High quality, ibig sabihin, ay hindi lang yan nadadaan sa poster. Tapos, hindi yan nadadaan sa at the start of the month, you just announce it. This month, our virtue of the month is kindness. And then they never hear again about it. Hindi. High quality means it's even integrated into academics. Teachers of all subjects find ways to connect it to the lessons that they give, to the examples that they cite. You find it in corridors, in along the hallways, in the classrooms, on the doors, reminders, motto, etc. High quality, and then comprehensive. Comprehensive meaning to say, in the first place, grade 1 all the way to grade 12, everyone um, is made aware. All subjects find a way of integrating comprehensive because it's not just inside the classroom. There's also campaign for it in the library, in the cafeteria, in the playground, at the entrance, in the PE grounds. Comprehensive. That's when it will be useful. Okay. Otherwise, these 12 strategies, this 12-point approach will not work if it is not high quality and if it is not comprehensive. On the other hand, in fact, precisely this 12-point approach makes sure that it's high quality and it's comprehensive, intentional, deliberately seeking to positively impact character development through every phase of school and classroom life. That's why it's successful. The 12-point approach is like this approach addresses the 80% gap. Sabi ko kanina, Dr. Licona studied all the programs available, I think 40 plus of them on bully prevention, and discovered that the most effective one is only effective for around 28%. Tom Licona, what he does is, no, we have to address the 80% gap. It can be a 100% success, therefore. School climate matters. Bullying is strongly related to overall school climate. It decreases when the school climate improves and the students have greater voice. That's why one of the strongest strategies I'm going to share with you in addressing bullying, in creating a kind and caring classroom is to empower the students to be the ones to own the idea of kailangan ang classroom natin is kind and caring. Okay, the teacher is kind and caring, but the 40 students are not, you're not going to improve school climate. They are the ones who should be deliberately, intentionally putting in place systems and strategies to create a kind and caring classroom. It's in our hands. We can do it. We can create that atmosphere. Okay. And we have to make sure, in fact, that we succeed in being able to do it because of the crisis we see in the world today. I hope that's inspiring enough for all of you. That's what we were saying yesterday. I've seen some people grow up to be very good men and women of character, even if yung it's not the parents who raise them, it's the grandparents, but iba. In fact, there's a part two of that commercial, yung pagbabalik ng mga magulang from um, Dubai where they were working. Okay, so to create a kind and caring classroom, that is in our hands. We can do it. It's up to us. If we make sure that students understand that kindness matters, that for us, kindness is supreme, that it is of a high order, then we can succeed in this effort to create that kind of atmosphere. In fact, well, that's what we know in our faith. Charity above all, charity, which is kindness. I mean, kindness is a form of charity. Um, it's the virtue that will not disappear, right? Hope will disappear when we die, when we are face to face with God, but charity remains. Our love for God and love for others as ourselves. Kindness makes a fellow feel good, whether it's being done to him or by him. And that's why it changes the environment. Okay, so uh, especially because we are now dealing with more bullying. Before the pandemic, the bullying among children, among teenagers, has become so problematic that you had some students even actually thinking of suicide. And I'm not talking about the US alone. This has also been happening in the Philippines. A mother's complaint. Children remind me of chickens seeking the weak and wounded and pecking them to death. They discover that my 9-year-old son, who is autistic, is bothered by loud noises. And so the classmates scream and whistle in his ear until he cries. We have to get parents to feel safer for their children, that they are not afraid that their kids are going to be victims of bullying. When students are victims of peer cruelty, it interferes with their learning. It disrupts their social and moral development. It makes school a miserable experience. It causes some to seek revenge, and it even causes others to become depressed and even suicidal. Sabi nitong 8th grade girl who committed suicide, all my life I have been teased. I love you very much, but I just couldn't stand it anymore. She killed herself. So, yes, kindness matters, and the young people have to know it does matter. Everyone is fighting a battle. The person you meet, you may not know anong pinagdadaanan niya. Kindness matters. As I said, I'm not just talking of US setting here. You see headlines like this. We read about kids, student committing suicide because of cyberbullying, because of bullying. So it's not, and then ito pa, Filipino boy kills himself over online learning. That it's really affecting everyone. And in the US, every now and then you hear a lot of this campus shooting, no? The Columbine massacre, the Virginia Tech shooting. It's absurd. Two-thirds of the student shooters had been bullied by fellow students. There's a mother in the US who told her daughter, 3-year-old daughter or 4-year-old daughter, Joanna, your friend Carol died of cancer. And Joanna said, "What? I thought kids are killed by um, shooters, not by cancer." That's the idea that gelled in the mind of Joanna, that kids are killed not by sickness, not by whatever, but by shooting. It's absurd, but that is what has gone of the world now. Peer exclusion in kindergarten is associated with lower academic achievement in later grades. Even observing someone else being bullied can lower a student's academic performance. You see, everyone is affected, the victims and the bystanders. Okay, so what do we do now? Well, here's the 3 secrets of success. If you want to succeed in creating a kind and caring classroom, we have to involve the staff, we have to involve the students, and we have to involve the parents. Okay? When I was young, I used to admire intelligent people. As I grow older, I admire kind people. Sabi ni Abraham Joshua Heschel. How to get the staff involved? Here's how. Create a touchstone. What is a touchstone? A touchstone is like a battle cry, a motto, or a pledge that you craft with the help of the students. Best if the students are involved, like get a representative from the student council to sit in this committee that will draft a touchstone way, pledge, a battle cry that summarizes what we stand for as a school, what we believe in, our core values. In fact, most schools, if not all, already have the mission, vision, and core values. And it's just a matter of putting it in a pledge form that students can recite at the start of the week, at the start of every period, if you want, at the start of an assembly. So, touchstone like puts in summary form what you believe in, what you stand for, the core values that you want to push, especially so, including in inserting there or highlighting there the thing of kindness and caring. Um, if you already have it, because I know some schools already have it. In Southridge, where I studied high school, we have a pledge, the oath of a Southridge gentleman. And we repeated it so many times, I still memorize it, even after leaving Southridge as a teacher in 2009 or as a student in 1984. But we would raise our hand and we would recite, I am a Southridge gentleman and I dedicate myself to our mission of strengthening the family and of forming people according to the Christian ideals, to be pious in sporting in spirit, to hone myself in the sciences and in the arts. We recited it, we memorized it, ending with the last part, I live by the Southridge motto, Viriliter Agite. And we, the Southridge people, trusting in God's abundant grace, working as one team, hope to achieve this. So it's a pledge. Now, here's an example of a, touchstone written by the Northridge School in the US, the Northridge Way. And you can imagine students are made to recite this with their right hand raised like that. At Northridge School, we pursue excellence in scholarship and character. We celebrate and honor each other by being respectful, honest, kind, and fair. You can replace this with whatever core values you already set for your school, because I'm sure you have these things already posted in the tarpaulin, printed in the faculty manual, printed in the student's handbook. And then they say, we give our best inside and outside the classroom. This is who we are, even when no one is watching. It didn't take more than 30 seconds, but the power of the way, the pledge, the oath can imbue the whole day, the whole life of the student inside the school, and including the staff. They too should be made to memorize, recite, and take a pledge that this is what we stand for as a school. This is what we do here in our school. Be kind whenever possible. It is always possible, Dalai Lama. Here's the Roosevelt way. I mean, the high school counselor described their way as simply this, that here there's a way that students are expected to act and the way that they are expected not to act. That's the way, summarized in their Roosevelt way. Okay, so how can we make sure this is successful in implementation? Four things are necessary. Remember, this is our way of getting the staff involved. So that's why you can make the librarians, the lady selling in the cafeteria, the non-academic staff also have a copy of this, uh, laminated and posted in everyone's desk. And better yet, perhaps to start the week, Monday, everyone gathers in the assembly, in the Zoom room assembly, in the Google Meet room, in the Microsoft Team office room, whatever elements you're using, and stay and recite their commitment to it. So, number one, visibility. Make it visible. Make it appear in every document. Make it appear in every memo that you send to the parents, for example, that this is our way. This is what we believe in. This is what we stand for. In the When we're back to the campus, have it posted in on every door, inside every classroom, in big tarpaulins, in strategic locations. This is what we stand for. Visibility. Academics, teachers will find a way of connecting. Social studies teachers will look for historical characters who displayed these core values in an exceptional way, who lived by uh, literature characters. Questions student that we ask students, like, if this character in Tom Sawyer were a student in our school, do you think he would have been an ideal student? Do you think he would be faithful in living our touchstone, in living our core values? Academics, integrating it in all aspects of our teaching. Discipline. Staff, teachers refer to the touchstone when disciplining. John, you do realize why you are being given a detention, right? Because it goes very much against our core values. Because it goes against very much what we pledge every Monday or every start of the class about being caring, being kind, and being excellent, etc. So instead of simply you're detained, you're suspended. No, connecting it to you realize why you deserve this consequence, no? Because this goes against our way, our pledge. And then there should be a strong orientation of new students. Any new student that comes in should know this is our way. This is how we do things here in our school. This is what we believe in. Then you stand the chance of big success in the implementation of the touchstone. And then this has to be part of the ongoing professional development of all teachers. The seminars we organize have to be connected to this core values, this touchstone, this way. So I'll show you how schools, for example, exaggeratedly make kindness campaign alive. I mean, all the classrooms are asked to decorate, celebrate. I mean, really, in the end, this is like a celebration of kindness that everyone is singing praises to the beauty of creating a kind and caring classroom, of seeing to it that it's kindness that reigns inside the classroom, that everyone feels safe, secure, that everyone they will deal with in the campus have committed themselves to create that kindness atmosphere, kind and caring. I mean, if this is what you see the whole day, um, every time somebody does an unkind act, it cannot but look out of place. It cannot but look like a square peg in a round hole. I mean, that an unkind act in a school that values kindness a lot will really just look um, inappropriate, out of place, does not belong. So that is the idea of uh, involving everyone, involving the staff by creating visibly, clearly, our statement on kindness. Kindness does wonderful things to a face. Okay, let's go to number two, secret to success. Student involvement. Involve them. How? This is the topic this afternoon. The class advisor, being able to create a culture, a mindset, an identity that she, the class advisor, will make all the students um, own this idea of we have to create a kind and caring school. That is the teacher's way of welcoming a new student who transferred to their school kasi biktima siya ng bullying in another school. And imagine how excitedly he will be going home to his mom, telling her, "Thank you for putting me in such a beautiful, wonderful school that values kindness, caring. I feel so welcome. I feel so loved." You see the total difference, um, coming from a school where he was bullied and then entering a classroom like that, where the teacher makes sure that he is welcomed. So, how to get the students involved? One of the things we need to do is to make sure class advisors, especially, hold class meetings. Hold class meetings. Advisory is not all about just collecting reply slips and collecting payments for the intrams payments. No, uh, no. It goes beyond that. One of the things that the class advisor should do, and any teacher should do, is to hold a class meeting. For example, math. And then you discover, ang daming bumabagsak, nahihirapan sila. Class, let's have a class meeting. Let's discuss how we can solve the problem of poor performance in quizzes. You see, when you do that, you make the students own the problem and they have to come up with solutions. You pass on the problem to them. Don't just take it as your own problem. Or, for example, ang daming nag-absent sa online classes. Okay, class, next this Friday, let's have a class meeting. I'm not going to discuss math. I'm going to discuss how can we address the problem of attendance in our synchronous class. You see, you're passing on the problem to them and then make them come up with solutions. For all you know, kaya naman pala is kalahati ng class talagang may problema yung tinitirhan nila has weak spot. I mean, is a weak spot of globe of smart. I mean, it's possible, and therefore you will have to find solutions. So does that mean, John, maybe you need to um, go to the house of Joanna or Joey, and that's where you can follow the class, synchronous class next time? Maybe that's a better solution than you wala, missing out. And then you also have a problem being able to get what you missed from another classmate kasi you have other subjects also to study for. Parang nagdoble lang yung trabaho mo. So, class meetings. And Tom Licona lists down 20 different class meetings. Don't think wala kayong mapagmimitingan kasi minsan iniisip ng class advisor ganyan, wala naman kami pag-uusapan. Ang dami pwede. You can just spend time sharing good news. doing a circle whip. I'll tell you more a little bit about it. Spending time just expressing appreciation for each other, for people, or sharing time just to compliment people or to set goals, especially at the start of the school year. Okay, class 5B. Ano ang ating isa-set as our goals in academics, goals in extracurriculars, goals in leadership, etc. So, sir, ang goal syempre natin is walang babagsak, walang magre-repeat ng year, that all will do well. Okay, somebody will say, hindi, why not even set as a goal, not only will everyone pass, but half the class will make it to the honors list. Okay, that's even a more challenging goal, but okay, let's set it. So, goal setting meeting. This is the circle whip. May papakompleto kayo sa na sentence sa mga bata. Everyone should be given a chance to complete one sentence, or you can choose one from this. That's one meeting. Or you can choose two, tapos pipili sila from those two which one they want to complete. And walang objection. Just get everybody to contribute. Circle whip. Para bang you form a circle and then everyone should be able to contribute. Something I like about this class. And then you will not, you'll be surprised. Uy, gusto pala nila yung ganong activity na ginagawa namin, because a number of them talked about something I like about this class. Something I think would make our class better. May suggestion ng mga bata. Hindi natin alam, ang dami palang nag-iisip nitong better schedule, better time. Masyado palang matagal yung 1 hour meeting. Ang hirap sa kanila. 30 lang pala dapat. So things like that. A decision I think we should make. I'm wondering why. Something that bothers me. I wish. That's giving students a voice. And that is a beautiful thing. Number six, rule setting. Let's set rules about our meetings, and then let's evaluate those rules that we set later on. Stage setting meeting, feedback and evaluation, reflections on learning. Ang dami. And we're only halfway in the different types of meetings. Student presentation, problem solving meeting, academic issues, classroom improvement meeting, follow up on a meeting that we had last week or last time. So all these are like really empowering the students, giving them a voice, planning concepts, sticky situations, suggestion box or class business box. There is a box in the classroom where people can anonymously put suggestions. And then let's meet on the about the meetings. Let's schedule out what we will meet about in the coming days, in the coming weeks. Andame. But all this bottom line is simply to empower the students, to make them have a voice. Student voice and cyberbullying. We talked about this earlier. And I said I'm going to give you a strategy. Challenge your student council, student government, student officers, class officers. What can students, parents, and the school working together do to prevent cyberbullying? Kasi cyberbullying does not happen in your classroom. It happens at home, and therefore, the parents have to be the ones supposed to be on top of that. Wala tayo sa bahay nila eh. We've got to get the parents involved. But maybe they themselves don't know how to get involved except to uh, threaten with no Wi-Fi. I'm going to cut that Wi-Fi. I'm going to deprive you, confiscated, grounded. So maybe they need a bit more guidance from us on how they can more effectively supervise. For example, maybe some parents don't know there is such a thing as parental control in all computers. They just have to know how to set it up that will make the students, their children, unable to access pornographic websites, for example, or harmful websites, not just because of sex and pornography, but because of violence and uh, fake news that that website is known to peddle. Have school-wide discussion with delegates from each classroom. Ask students to take responsibility for the school-wide campaign. There are many more ideas in stopcyberbullying.org. But the idea here is to empower the students, make them be on top of it, get students to take responsibility. Counselors, guidance office can create an anti-bullying intervention team. Yan, at every grade level. And these team members step in when they see someone being picked on or investigate. And then students providing emotional support to victims. Make them own the solution, make them even think of possible solutions. Here's another one: to create a kind and caring atmosphere, get the senior students to welcome the freshmen, the grade 12 spending one day with the grade 7 students, 7 junior high, and make them spend a day in fun activities. In the face-to-face setup, it's like playing basketball together, having lunch together, having a program where the grade 7 will perform, senior students will perform, and that creates totally new, different atmosphere. The younger ones are now excited to go to school because they now have kuyas to look up to, kuya that they can run to. And the seniors feel more responsible in making sure the younger ones are given help and support. It changes the atmosphere in a campus when you have friendships like that between younger students and the older students. I was very, very lucky to be studying in Southridge when I started there in 1979, grade 7. The whole school was only 178 students. We knew everyone from prep all the way to our level. And then we were the first to graduate fourth year high school, and we knew everyone all the way to grade 1. And today, I look back and it's surprising. I myself get surprised that I meet some of them. Oh, you were grade 3 when I was in fourth year, and yet we're friends. I mean, we can consider ourselves friends. So it's like one big, happy family. A school like that is special. The smallest act of kindness is worth more than the greatest intention. Khalil Gibran. Here's another strategy for student involvement: freshman transition program. You assign mentors from the older ones to the younger ones. The school trains the mentors, the seniors, and then you give them opportunity to meet on a regular basis, if not weekly, every other week, or frequently. To it's fantastic, you know. Yung kanina is students first years are now excited to go to school because they have kuyas. This one, not only do they have a older kuyas, they have a buddy kuya that they can run to ask for help, to ask for advice, or why not classes being paired to be buddies. Grade 6C is the buddy of grade 4C, and they can support each other. They can have a get together weekly or bi-weekly. They can play sports every now and then. And even better, the older ones can help the younger ones in their assignments. When you have a system like this in place in a school, I can imagine what a fantastic school of kindness, of caring, of charity, of support, of camaraderie, of friendship. And I'd like to be in a school like that. Here, celebrate kindness challenge. 1 week, you give the students something like this, a list like this. And then the students have this like report card, checklist, and every time they're able to accomplish one of the challenges, they check it. And the challenge is to do as many as they can in 1 week. And many of them don't cost a thing. Smiling at 25 people, slipping a nice note in your friend's backpack, complimenting 5 people, picking up 10 pieces of trash on campus, making a new friend, etc. Now, the challenge is make the students come up with a list of 100 kind acts they can do in the online setup. Challenge them to make a list of maybe even just 20 kind acts that they can possibly do in the online setup, and then collate them and then make them into a list of 100, let's say. And then you will announce on October 1 to 7, when we celebrate Teachers Day, October 5, usually World Teachers Day. In that 1 week, you are challenged to do as many of these acts of kindness challenge. And those who can complete all the 100 kind acts in that 1 week, you will receive a certificate, an e-certificate that we will give you. And it will be announced in the General Assembly for November, things like that. So, writing a thank you on a band aid for the nurse, listening to your teacher the first time, whispering thank you to the librarian, helping someone up if they fall down, etc. So, all these are on face to face setup. Challenge the students to draw up those list of 100 online acts of kindness. It works. It totally changes the environment, the atmosphere. Third secret of success, involve the parents. How do you involve the parents? Here it is. Number one, okay, communicate with the parents because they are the first and most important character educators. And in fact, our job, the school's job, is just to reinforce what is already being taught at home, supposed to be. That's the principle of education, really. Therefore, let's communicate with the parents. Let's call them for an orientation and make it clear to them that we expect them to participate. Even better, enrollment, make them sign a contract, a memo, an agreement that they will abide by the school's core values and that they will find always means to be able to push these same values at home. By the fact that we chose this school means that we are making ourselves um, beneficiaries of its mission, vision, and core values. Expect the parents to participate. Send the program to them. Let them know what you are working on. Let them know about the kindness challenge. Let them know about the monthly virtue that you are pushing. Make them know and give them ideas on how they can help, how they can push hard work at home, how they can push kindness at home. Make the students draw up suggestions for families at home and then pass that on to the parents. This didn't come from me. We were not the ones who drew this up. It's your very own sons and daughters in the class activities. They drew up these suggestions on how to implement. Send home guidelines to help parents monitor the kids' online activity. Kasi wala tayo sa bahay eh. It's the parents who are there. Or every now and then, give assignment that will make the parents participate in the assignment or help out. For example, class, your assignment is make your parents draw up a list of their 5 heroes and you your own five. And then sit down with your mom or with your dad and discuss why why those five. That's involving them in the character education. Of course, the parents will see the point and will make sure that they highlight character in their sharing of their own heroes. The difference a teacher makes. I was a bully before I came to this school. I used to make little kids cry. When I met Mrs. Brown, I changed. I'm not a bully anymore because Mrs. Brown taught me about character. And that's what we want to do, to change students and transform them to be kind, caring, upright, moral, good. And it's powerful. It transforms the school. Then it changes the character of the school. It changes the climate. Then it becomes a strong, healthy climate, and people want to be there. Students don't want to transfer to other schools. Here's something I need to get across. Let's face it, itong pandemic na to, maraming nag-alisan, ano, lumipat sa public school kasi ganun din naman eh. Eh, ba't pa ako magbabayad ng tuition dito libre tapos anyway, work at home din eh. Online lang. Well, this is the reason why what I wanted to say is we teachers today have to be in a marketing mode. You know, marketing mode. Do your job very well because we want to retain the students. We don't want to lose anyone of them. We don't want any one of them thinking of getting out of our school. We need the enrollment. We need to survive. And that's very important. Okay. So, in the kindness campaign, it's the teacher who is the most important tool because they will learn kindness, especially from our example. They will learn the kind of atmosphere, climate we have in the school because of what they see in the teacher. Therefore, we have to do frequent examination. Do I warmly greet each student? Do I seek other opportunities to connect with each student? Am I well prepared for class on time? Do I model patience and courtesy even under stress? And do I treat my students impartially? Do I challenge all of them to do their best work? These are questions we teachers should ask ourselves frequently because in the end we are the ones who will set the tone and will make kindness alive. Okay, yeah, raining here very hard also where I am, suddenly pouring, and Ma'am Bella expressed the concern about connection. As I said, this is being recorded and you will have access to the recording so that along the way, if you lose connection, no problem, you just get the link to be able to catch whatever you may have missed. So here's another strategy doing the anonymous compliments. Each student draws the name, bunutan, ano? Or you can do this online through a way of, I don't know, being able to get a randomly, being able to distribute the students' names to the classmates. By the week's end, the student writes an anonymous compliment about that person on a strip of paper, shows it to the teacher, and puts it in the compliment box. On Friday, the teacher posts all the compliments on the bulletin board, and students will read the compliments given to them by another classmate that they don't know. And it's very encouraging. They discover, wow, I didn't realize they value my being cheerful. I didn't realize they value my being helpful. They consider so things like that, and it's very encouraging. It's like strengthening values and peers affirming peers. At the end of the day, you will ask the students who saw kindness today, who saw respect today, and they will describe their classmate being doing this, who saw determination, who saw sharing. Some of them will be mentioning names, and the people will feel very good about that compliment, that affirmation, and the others will be encouraged to do the same the next day so that they will also be mentioned in who saw kindness today. I like a class where students are trying to outdo each other in doing good, in being kind, in being respectful, in having determination, in sharing. Okay, here's another strategy. Make the students do the good deeds journal. And this can be done even in an online setup. You will tell them, okay, I'll give you 3 minutes now to write in your good deeds file, the Microsoft Word file that I asked you to open, and write there the date, and then a good deed I did yesterday and a good deed I will do today. It's fantastic, when students are made conscious about doing good deeds, because it's possible a person can think, uy, wala akong ginawang mabuti kahapon. Grabe. The whole day passed and I don't remember doing a good deed except to attend the class. Okay, that's nice, but that's what I'm expected to do anyway. I have to do something to do two good deeds today, not just one. It's making them be conscious of this by itself is a good strategy. Teaching courtesy. Dapat makilala ang mga estudyante mo as the teacher who teaches courtesy. Ay, kaya naman pala ganyan yung batang yan. Nasa class ni Mrs. So-and-so. Lahat ng students ni Mrs. So-and-so are like that. Courteous. They know how to greet good morning. They know how to greet good afternoon. They know how to greet thank you, to say thank you. Courteous. So let's proceed. We now go to a next topic, a very important one, which is transforming our school through the power of effective class advisory systems and strategies. Let's look back at our years as students. And I think you will admit, oo nga, meron tayong class advisors na napakagaling. They made a difference in our life. Pero meron din tayong yung mga parang so-so. You don't even remember what they did, except siguro to check attendance or to collect payments for the intrams shirts. Yan. Parang ganun lang, And then minsan pa nga, yung parang minsan lang pumasok sa ating advisory class. Kasi ang impression nila is advisory is simply like that, just checking attendance, submitting reports, making sure the grades are complete, yun lang, and then distributing cards. But we don't remember anymore anything else they did. It's a choice. You can either be an excellent, effective class advisor, or you can be an ordinary or even mediocre one. Let's choose to be the best class advisors we can possibly be. Our references again include Rafe Esquith, his book. I'm going to share with you his world famous strategy system, the economic system. I already talked about him yesterday in our discussion on classroom management. um, Teach Like Your Hair is on Fire. That is where he put all those details. And then, because of the success of his economic system, he wrote another book um, where he explained in more detail about the economic system. I'm going to share with you that strategy. Of course, Hal Urban continues to be a very good source for this advisory. As I said, a very good friend. I've brought him to Manila 4 times already, and then another book is Smart and Good High Schools by Dr. Thomas Licona. Strategies, so many of them, to create a smart and good high school. Okay, our principle is this: to educate a person in mind and not in morals, is to educate a menace to society. That's why we want to strengthen character building, character formation. Especially so since research says itong environment na kinalalakihan ng mga kabataan ngayon has been described as the most pernicious, insidious, and clandestine in the way it deforms values. Um, all these things that we've seen so far, the glorification of the vulgar, the unkindness that is so much present in primetime news, all these. Here's the principles. Here are the principles I need you to accept para yung strategies na ituturo ko make sense. If you don't accept these principles, then sobrang exaggerated yung mga systems and strategies that I will teach you. Pero kung naniniwala kayo dito, then it makes sense. ay oo nga, dapat nating talagang lagyan ng systems. Here's the first principle. An effective class advisor can have the greatest impact on the formation of the students. And this is true. That's why in many alumni homecoming, many students come back and they excitedly look for their class advisors. They look back to their school years and they realize it's the class advisor, the effective ones, who really made a difference in their life. You want to look for them, shake their hand, look them straight in the face, in the eyes, and tell them, I am who I am because of you, because of what you did to me, because of how you formed me. In fact, in many places today, pag ang isang grade 11, grade 12 student uh, nabuntis, ang mas kaya niyang lapitan to ask for help is the class advisor. Takot siya sa nanay niya, takot sa tatay, bubugbugin siya ng nanay tatay niya. So, alam niya yung class advisor, hindi siya bubugbugin, will listen and will advise her. I mentioned that because I had that very sad experience 3 years ago. A Catholic school, top Catholic school in Manila, asked my help for their senior high faculty because may isang grade 11 student, grade 11, na nabuntis. And then, the worst part of it is teachers never even realized that she was pregnant. And parents never even realized she was pregnant. They only discovered when one December 20 morning, they had to rush her to the hospital to give birth. Doon lang nila na-discover, buntis pala ang anak ko. Buntis pala itong estudyante namin. And the senior high principal had to ask me, can you give us a series of seminars on forming character, molding minds, and teaching values? And because the class advisors have to be on top more than just the attendance, more than just the grade submissions. We have to be on top of their formation because an effective class advisor can have the greatest impact on the formation of the students, on his or her effectiveness or ineffectiveness lies the spirit or the lack of it of the class. The class advisor is the one that creates the spirit, the atmosphere, the prevailing um, air in a classroom. Kaya minsan, ang title na binibigay ko dito sa session na to is Conjuring the Spirit of the Class. Because really, this is what we class advisors are able to do. We conjure the spirit. But what kind of spirit? Di ba, meron kang class advisors na very competitive. Yun yung nagiging spirit of the class. They want to win all championships. They put their heart into quiz B, the sabayang bigkasan, declamation contest, palaban yung class. That they got it from their class advisor. But if the class advisor is, never mind, if you want, sige, bahala kayo, you join. I cannot help you. Then the class also develops a certain spirit of couldn't care less. No excitement, no motivation. We are the ones who create, who conjure the spirit of the class. Here are the expectations of class advisors. It's not just collecting payments, it's not just checking attendance. Number one, the class advisors are the ones responsible for getting the students in the class to understand and to appreciate what the school stands for. The spirit of the school's mission, vision, and core values. Therefore, dapat ang class advisor has a full understanding and sincere appreciation of that spirit. Yung class advisor ang repeatedly will say, class, you have to be men for others. That's our mantra. That's our motto. Class, you have to be in the service of society. That's what we stand for as a school. That's written in our mission vision. That's our core values. Class, I need you to be, it's a class advisor who will have to repeatedly transmit that spirit, the what the school stands for, the values. Di dapat class advisor mismo has this full understanding and sincere appreciation. That's the first expectation. Number two, since we are the direct link with the school, with the parents, um, we have to have a good communication skills. I mean, tayo ang, 'di ba, nagsusulat ng note to the parents. We are the ones who send a reminder to the parents, Mrs. So and so, your son is failing, has been failing in many quizzes. Please help him prepare for the long test. Please prepare him for the final exam. Tayo 'yon. Pero kung ang letter na na-receive ng parent is baku-bako ang English, for example, they cannot help judge the school according to what they read. Ano ba namang English tinuturo sa inyo ng teacher nyo? Ganyan. Therefore, we have to improve in our communication skills, written and oral. Oral because tayo rin yung hahanapin ng parents pag distribution of cards, di ba? Um, tayo rin yung kakausapin nila. Tapos tayo ang magbibigay sa kanila ng feedback about their sons, about their daughters. So dapat we have to improve in our expression skills. That's a second expectation. And then number three, alam ko, many of you class advisors, hindi lang kayo class advisor eh. Kayo rin yung nag-choreograph ng dance number ng class nyo for Christmas program. Kayo rin yung nag-coach ng Sabayang Bigkasan. Kayo rin yung cheerleader sa intrams, yung pinakamalakas ang sigaw. Shoot that ball, ganyan. Kayo yung cheerleader. You're not just a class advisor. You have been all of these to your class, to your students. Therefore, since we are the ones overseeing all these so many activities throughout the year, ay dapat we have a certain intellectual capacity and managerial skills to oversee all these many activities throughout the year. So, dapat ang training ng class advisors should include time management, project proposal writing, um, project management, overseeing, organizational skills, yung ganon, no? Ang dami, ang hirap pala. Yes, because we can have the most um, influence on the character formation of our students. So this is the summary, and if schools are looking for paano kaya natin papabutihin ang trabaho ng mga class advisors, then we have to look at this as seminar objectives for our class advisors. And it's worthwhile because a teacher affects eternity. He can never tell where his influence stops. And I especially put there, a class advisor affects eternity. An effective class advisor affects eternity. We can never tell where his influence stops. Okay? So admit that principle so that then um, these next things I'm going to share with you will make sense. Otherwise, parang exaggerated masyado. Especially so because many times parang in loco parentis tayo, no? In the place of the parents. Okay. Um, Ma'am Junius commented, I think expectation number one should be the function of every school staff, not just the advisor. I agree. All of us should be the bringers, the transmitters of the spirit of the school. And that is how we create not just a kind and caring classroom, but a kind and caring school. And that's how we are able to transform totally our whole school. I mean, um, sabi ko nga kanina, we have to be in the marketing mode right now because we need the enrollment. Let's be realistic. Kailangan natin ang estudyante. We cannot survive. Um, Fewer students means either the school has to let go of some teachers or the school will have to cut down on expenses, or even worse, the school will have to remove some benefits that we've been enjoying, because it's a choice of either surviving or so. We have to be on a marketing mode. Every staff, security guard, maintenance man, teacher, librarian, lady in the accounting office, every person that parents meet, outsiders meet, um, should show the outsiders, the people there, how great a school we are, how kind a school we are, how caring a school we are. And it shows in the way we deal with them, in the way we treat them with a lot of respect and with a lot of kindness. And yes, so I agree with Ma'am Junius. Sorry, Ma'am or Sir. I'm sorry about that. The Junius is correct in saying, yeah, dapat lahat to. Everyone that outsiders meet should really imbue the spirit of the school, what we stand for as a school, the core values of the school. Here is what US Senate resolution said in their effort to study school effectiveness. If a school, sabi ng study nila, if a school is a vibrant, innovative, child-centered place, if a school has a reputation for excellence in teaching, if students are performing to the best of their ability, one can almost always point to the leadership of the principal as key to success. The principal, kung ano ang kanyang laging pinapa-ulit-ulit sa reminder sa mga teachers, yun, that is what will set as that is what will be set as the trust main goal. Kung ano ang laging lumalabas sa bibig ng principal, yung pala yung pinakamahalaga, and that is what will set the tone or set the pace. Or but the same study also showed, if a class, so kanina if a school, ito ngayon, if a class is a vibrant, innovative, child-centered place, if it has a reputation for excellence, if students are performing to the best of their ability, one can almost always point to the class advisor's leadership as the key to success. And it's true, really. The class advisor is the one who sets the tone, who sets the pace. Kung ano ang laging lumalabas sa bibig ng class advisor as reminders to the students. Kung ano ang lagi niyang pinapaalala sa mga kabataan, that's what will become the spirit of the class. Okay, so let's go to systems and strategies. It's 11:07. I was actually tempted to leave this for later. Yeah, maybe just to introduce to you, I will be giving you a system that I applied in all the schools I taught in: Westbridge in Iloilo, Southridge in Alabang, Northfield in Quezon City, Bannister Academy in Libis, Quezon City. All these schools I taught in, I implemented what we call the Class Excellence Recognition or Award for Class Excellence. Ito yung parang house system sa Harry Potter. 50 points for the Gryffindors, 100 points for Slytherins, yung ganyan, di ba? They divided the whole school into houses. Ito ngayon, every class forms a house. And then we will allot points for if you have zero tardiness in the month, zero absence in the month, if you're able to bring 100% of the parents to the PTA meeting, to the parenting talk, to the orientation for parents, 100 points for the class. If you are able to maintain your bulletin board, we will inspect the bulletin board every so often. And if you are able to maintain it in excellent condition and even in creative way, 50 points for the class. And then every so often, we will go around inspecting order. And if your class consistently gets a passing mark in order, we will only check certain number of items, for example, um, then we will give you the class excellence recognition. Now, here's how it works. At the start of the month or at the start of the quarter, we will say, if you want to qualify for the class excellence recognition, your class should be able to garner at least 1,000 points. Okay? At least 1,000 points. Any class that is able to reach 1,000 points at the end of the quarter will receive a certificate indicating that this class is a class excellence qualifier. Now, you see, it's not that they're competing against each other because it's possible all classes can reach 1,000 points if they work hard, because there are also points that you can gain through initiatives. Have a class website, 50 points. You have a class newsletter, 50 points. You organize an outreach activity, um, five of them. Good. That's 50 points per outreach activity. You visited the orphanage, you visited the sick, you went to the hospital and distributed Jollibee goods to indigent patients. You, fantastic. Or you organize a class outing, a class seminar, a class retreat. I mean, these are all initiatives that are not forced on you by the school, but you initiated it in order to push class unity, class prestige, class honor. Good. So, any class can reach the 1,000 points. And you, when you have this in place, wow, all classes trying to outdo each other in doing outreach activities, in doing initiatives. But of course, the biggest number of points will be allotted for if your class has 100% students making it to the honors list, that's 100 points for the class. Only 60% make it, your class gets 60 points. Or you can even double it. 200 points if your class is 100% inside the able to make it to the honors list. You now have students aggressively working hard to make it to the honors list because they want to contribute to the class excellence points, because they want their class to be recognized as an excellent class. I have more details about this, but I'm afraid if I start into nitty gritty details, I will lose time. I will run out of time. And so I think it's good to just leave it at this for a while. And then I'm going to go into details of the implementation of class excellence recognition because it's exciting. It is what precisely starts creating a whole new atmosphere, a whole new identity for the classes, a whole new culture that is created. I love a school where classes are trying to outdo each other in doing good, in being excellent, in precisely living the what the school stands for.